Today, a very special town hall meeting. Too fat for 15, the obesity crisis.
Kids are getting diabetes, heart disease, stroke. $150 billion a year is spent on the medical costs of obesity.
How did we get here?
Doctors and nutritionists give real answers to your hard questions.
Kids at school call me fat. What should I do?
I see you're about to put a little cheese on top. Is that allowed?
Allison Sweeney from NBC's The Biggest Loser hosts at the YMCA in St. Louis, Missouri. And featuring some familiar faces on the Style Network. Ruby.
I was 716 pounds. I was dying.
And students from Too Fat for 15 fighting back.
I've spent a lot of time bedridden.
In one powerful, emotional, and important hour.
What would be the one thing that you would say to everyone here?
I don't care if it's rain, sleet, snow, whatever.
Move your behind. You have to be their support. You're all they have.
Please welcome Allison Sweeney.
I'm so thrilled to be here, and thank you to the YMCA in St. Louis, Missouri for welcoming us. This is a very important event, and I want to thank all of you for coming out today. We are facing an epidemic in the United States that threatens us and our children, and it is time to focus our attention on fighting it.
Not that long ago, children in the United States were fed nutritious meals with a healthy portion of go outside and play by parents who were home caring for them. Today, parents work more hours and have less time to manage meals. Cheap fast food restaurants serve up supersized portions to kids who would rather sit on the couch and play video games than play outdoors. Well, the results of these behaviors are shocking. Approximately 72.5 million U.S. adults and 17% of children between the ages of 2 and 19 are obese. And an estimated 112,000 deaths are related to obesity each year. Obesity is an epidemic that we have the power and resources to cure. We must work together as a community to combat America's childhood obesity epidemic before it's too late.
So today, the experts on the front line of this epidemic are going to give us the facts we need, and we're going to dispel some myths, too. We also have some of the students featured on Too Fat for 15 Fighting Back are here to share their journeys.
I started gaining weight in 6th grade. I thought it was going to be so easy, you know?
The tape didn't fit around me.
Wait till you see what they look like now. Our first special guest shares her very personal fight against obesity with viewers on the Style Network. She has been an inspiration to so many, and she has the courage to keep fighting. Let's all take a look at her journey.
The world is not made for me. It's not made for the people our size. I hate weighing in. A few months ago, I was down to 302 pounds, and I got back heavier. It's embarrassing for me to go and tell anybody or somebody look at me and can tell I've gained weight. It's embarrassing. It says to me, you're a failure. It's been so hard that sometimes I do think it'd be easier to die than do this. If I can't beat this, death is going to come to my door.
Please help me welcome Ruby. We love you, Ruby. So let's start with, what do you say to moms out there? I mean, that's what this is all about, trying to educate parents as well as the kids. What can they do?
Well, y'all, my mom loved me to death. That's kind of dangerous because I said love me to death, but she did. And so one of the things when moms ask me, they go, what can I do about my child? She's gaining so much weight. And the first thing I tell them is, what's in your pantry? What kind of food's in your home? They say cookies, potato chips. I go, that is my mom. Yeah. And you know, you see your child getting bigger and bigger. You cannot have that in your house. You have to get it out of the house, and you have to help your child. And that's the only way. And if you're skinny and you're able to go and eat, go eat with somebody else. Don't eat in front of your child. You have to be their support. You're all they have.
And one of the things that I always notice with the contestants I meet on The Biggest Loser is that people, they don't realize all the other things that go along with obesity that affect the inside. What medical issues did you face?
Well, the doctor told me I was a walking time bomb. He says your sugars are 400 to 500 a day, and they're supposed to be between 80 to 120. It's a miracle from God I did not go into a coma.
Wow.
And then they found fatty tissues in my liver. So I was dying and didn't even know it. If it wasn't for my mother begging me and pressuring me to go to the doctor, I would have never went. I would have been dead today.
What other things, what dreams did you have that you feel that the weight kept you from doing?
Oh my gosh, so much. And when I look back now, it's like, because I wanted 4 or 5 kids, and I never had children. I mean, I do have children because of my best friend Georgia, Benjamin, Zach, and my nephew Jim, and niece Karen. So God did bless me on having children all around me, but you know, that's one thing I can't go back and do. And I went to college for 2 years, and I wanted to stay in college, but I was gaining weight, and I couldn't fit in the desk. It stops you from so much, like roller coaster. I want to get on a roller coaster so bad, and I want, you know, but I would go to the theme park, and I would ride those little, like moped, what do you call them, wheelchair things. And I would have fun with them, but I wanted to ride all the rides, which I will one day, very soon.
Well, Ruby, I know, just getting to know you, we could sit here and talk all day, but I have questions from the audience. They want to talk to you as well. Hi, sweetheart, what's your name?
My name's Katie, and I'm 12 years old.
And what's your question, Katie?
My question is, kids at school call me fat, so what should I do about that?
First of all, I don't understand why they would call you fat, because you're beautiful, and I'm looking at you right now. You are beautiful. But you got to get in your head, and you got to say, you know what? I'm not what they're saying I am. I love myself, I'm a beautiful person, and you keep smiling, and you stay strong. Don't you let them make you think that about yourself. Because I was 716 pounds, honey. I went out and people stared at me, they laughed at me, they made noises like pig sounds. But I said, I don't care, I'm gonna still live my life, I'm gonna have fun. Do you have friends? You stay with those friends. You just, you know, you have your support group of your friends around you, and you have fun and you ignore them, and just keep your head high.
Okay.
You are absolutely beautiful. And so brave. I'm not at all. And so brave to come up and ask that question.
You're already strong, baby. That's a strong girl to come and stand up and ask that question.
I'm sure a lot of people have questions that we're not going to have time to get to every single person. I would love you to share some advice with them, and what would be the one thing that you would say to everyone here?
The biggest thing I've learned is that you cannot wait until tomorrow. Because tomorrow, y'all, is not going to come. It'll be 5 years or 10 years later. If you know, when you say I'm going to start a diet, you start it today. When I'm going to start eating healthy, today. Exercise today. Because if you start right now, the chances are you're going to beat this. And that's why we're here, to fight this. And y'all have to fight it with us and get healthy and help us change the world.
You're absolutely right, Ruby. We are going to do it together. Thank you so much for being here. She isn't the only one facing it. There are similar stories, and they are told across America. Take a look at these maps. The colors changing from blue to red show how America's obesity rate has more than doubled in the last 20 years. Here to give us an idea of the scope of the problem is Dr. Matt Longjohn, the Senior Director of Chronic Disease Prevention for the YMCA, and Dr. Denise Wilfley, Professor of Psychiatry and Pediatrics at the Washington University School of Medicine. So, Dr. Wilfley, we'll start with you. How did we get here?
The main reason we've gotten here is because the foodscape, our food environment, has changed dramatically over the last 30 years. The problem is the easy choice is an unhealthy choice. There's very large portions, sugar-sweetened beverages, fast foods. It's very difficult for people to make good choices in this obesogenic environment.
How is it medically affecting our children and their parents?
We're having to rename adult diseases. Diabetes used to be an adult disease, and now instead of calling it adult onset diabetes, it's type 2 diabetes, because kids are getting adult diseases. Diabetes, heart disease, stroke, liver disease, sleep problems, depression, it all kinds of follows from these unhealthy behaviors.
Obviously, healthcare is a hot topic for all of us, but obesity is a big part of what we're facing in the healthcare system.
That's right. It looks like about annually $150 billion a year is spent on the medical costs of obesity. So when we talk about the problems that's facing this country, whether it's healthcare dollars or whatever, this is a real problem. Anyone who's paying taxes really is needs to be part of the solution.
Dr. Wilfley, you have been at the forefront of researching eating disorders and childhood obesity. So moms are usually the ones who are planning the family meals. What can they do to help their kids be healthy and fit?
Well, what we work with our parents around is really trying to make the choices before it goes into the homes.
Right.
So what's available in the home are healthy foods, and we divide the foods into colors of the traffic light. Okay. So we have green, yellow, red foods, and so we try to fill the house with green foods, which are your fruits and your vegetables and your really healthy foods, and then the red foods like the sugar-sweetened beverages and the fast foods and the chips and the snacks, those are sometimes foods, and so really eliminating that.
And another part of the responsibility for the parent is knowing that it's not just something you can tell your kid to do. You have to live this life too, right?
Absolutely, and what we find is that the better the parent does, the better the child does. So we teach parents not only about healthy modeling, like you're talking about, but changing the food environment.
Well, thank you both so much for being here. If you're feeling inspired, go to mystyle.com and take the call to action with the Style Pledge. When you sign up, $1 will be donated to the Healthy Weight Commitment Foundation, up to $25,000. So do it now.
Coming up on Too Fat for 15, the Obesity Crisis.
I thought it was going to be so easy,
You want to help, and nothing you do works.
When she first came to Wellspring, she was very sheltered and wrapped up in her own little world.
But first, a town hall moment.
My name is Jordan Tobias, and my questions are for the doctors. Both of my parents are overweight, and I was wondering what I could do so that I can stay healthy and help them become healthier.
Yeah, genetics is not the whole picture. The simple messages you need to remember are to eat 5 fruits and vegetables a day, keep your screen time to 2 hours or less, and make sure you get an hour of physical activity a day. And that can just be a couple minutes at a time. Just take the simple steps. Don't try and do it all at once. And remember that your environment really predicts your behavior. So take the bad stuff out of the house and focus on those good things and take it a step at a time.
While we are learning how to prevent our children from becoming overweight, for other parents, it's a crisis already. And one option is a special boarding school for obese teens. The struggles of the students at Wellspring Academy are documented in the Style Network's Too Fat for 15, Fighting Back. And I'd like to introduce one of the students you've come to know.
I'm Carson Nash, and I'm from Virginia. My mom was an elite gymnast, so she's very tiny. When my parents divorced, I feel like I let myself go, big time. I literally just listened to music, ate, and watched TV.
There was an apocalyptic change in Carson. No parent wants to think that they can't heal their kid.
My first weigh-in was nerve-wracking. I thought it was going to be so easy, If I make it through here, I could do anything.
Please welcome to the show Jody Nash and her daughter Carson. Okay, first we have to talk about the sacks of potatoes that you carried in. What is that about?
I'm carrying the pounds that I've lost.
Which
I have 51 pounds I've lost.
Wow.
It's amazing. Amazing.
And what did it feel like to lug in that weight again after all this time?
No, man, it was awful. You people are trying to set me back 7 months. 7 months of hard work for that. I mean, I love potatoes too. I'll never look at it the same, ever. It feels really good. I feel so good about myself.
Jody, one of the things that you said that I just saw in the clip was that every parent hates the idea of not being able to heal their child. What was it like for you to make the choice to send her to Wellspring and see her succeed there?
Well, I think you feel helpless. You want to help. and nothing you do works. And so, to be honest with you, while it broke my heart to send her away, I felt so grateful that we had a resource. We had a place we could send her that had some answers for Carson.
You are a former gymnast. Obviously, you're still very fit and athletic. What was it like for you, kind of coming to terms with what Carson's going through?
I think probably the best thing about this whole thing has been watching Carson overcome her inertia and regain her sense of well-being and her place in life and just get moving again instead of sitting on the sidelines.
So obviously, every analogy there is definitely about sports. Do you miss playing sports?
I didn't love sports the way I do other things. It wasn't passionate. I had the feet for everything and the hands for everything. I just didn't have the heart.
And where is your heart?
I play music, and I love playing music. That's all I like to do, and it's not very athletic, but I just love it.
But you had to find then other ways to stay fit. What are the other things that you do that you like to do to be fit?
Well, I recently started exercising again. Obviously, I wasn't doing much. So I love boxing with PC at Wellspring, and we box, and it's awesome because it's just me against the bag, and I don't have to tromp on anyone else to get my exercise. It's just me, all the way, focusing, and I can do it myself, which is the best thing. I don't have to have someone there.
You're 18 years old. What are your dreams? What are your hopes for the future now?
I just got recently offered a scholarship and accepted into the performing arts of a college in Virginia.
Wow. That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that beautiful smile with all of us. Family support is even more important when the students are away from the safe and isolated Wellspring campus. Our next student, Rachel Qualley, and her mother, Julie, took this message seriously, and now it is a family affair.
I'm Rachel Qualley, and I'm from Groton, Connecticut. I started gaining weight in 6th grade because I've not only been teased from earlier years, but that's when it really hurt the most.
She knows we accept her for who she is and how she is. Society doesn't.
People always say sticks and stones may break your bones, but words may never hurt you, but that's not always true because when you're being teased, it's almost like a scar on your heart.
I don't need a supermodel for a daughter. I need a daughter who's going to be around longer than me.
This morning, we're planning on making an English muffin with some eggs and bacon.
It's kind of like you're eating at a fast food place for breakfast, but it's healthy.
Rachel's family are extremely, extremely prepared. It's beyond impressive. I don't think I've ever met with a family that has everything set up for the weekend.
Isn't it like having that fast food muffin thing that, we would normally get, right? Even Dana likes this one.
Please welcome Julie Qualley and her daughter, Rachel. Wow, that is a lot of weight in that wheelbarrow. How much is it all said and done?
72 pounds.
Wow. How do you feel now?
It's awesome.
Well, let's talk to your mom for a second. You talk about a major change you had to make as a family in terms of your eating. What was it before, and how did you make a family change?
Well, for us before, we felt like we ate pretty healthy. I mean, we weren't eating fast food, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but we would eat out of the bag. And we learned later that wasn't good. We would eat, and then you'd realize it was empty. We were all getting bigger, and we started doing diets. And we would all lose weight, and it seemed like Rachel would find it. We'd lose 5 pounds, she'd gain 2, and we couldn't figure out why.
So why? Rachel, what happened?
I think the reason was because I would sneak food. I would come back from school and my mom would be out shopping or something, and I would splurge on like whatever we had. It wasn't pretty, and I think I did it because I was teased at school. And that was definitely, in fact, I know I did.
What advice do you have for girls? What's the right way to deal with being teased?
The right way to deal with being teased is probably just, talking to someone about it. Get an adult, because if I could have gone back and instead of taking it out on food and eating food and going to an adult to deal with the problem, or just plain talking to your friends,
who will hopefully therefore take it to an adult, I don't think I would have been at 250 pounds.
More with Rachel and Julie when we come back.
Move your behind. We were missing that factor.
Plus,
I see you're about to put a little cheese on top. Is that allowed?
And later,
my question is for Ruby.
Too Fat for 15, the Obesity Crisis.
And we are talking with Rachel and Julie Qualley about their weight loss journey.
Now, as a family, your eating habits have changed. What do you do to try to encourage your whole family's health?
Well, the day I dropped her off, I was 269 pounds. And my husband and my son, older son, both all needed to lose weight. And I said, if she's doing this, we're going to do it too. She's coming home to a Wellspring family. And that's what we did. And Rachel helps me cook the recipe. She tells me, Mom, use applesauce instead of oil. Cut this, add that, skim this. Is that fat-free? Read the label. And I've lost 65 pounds. And my husband and my son have lost over 50.
How much of it did you not know? Do you feel like you were uninformed as to what you were eating that was so unhealthy?
It's not don't eat this, do eat that. It's figure out how much you're eating, watch what you're eating, and move your behind. We were missing that factor, and somehow they managed to get her to move her behind. And because of that, we wear our pedometers. I have one on now. And we wanted to get those minimum 10,000 steps a day. It was something we just thought we knew.
And it seems like Rachel has a lot to say about what happens in the kitchen. Yes. Any future career plans we should about?
I want to be a chef. I want to be a healthy chef to boot. You know, I want to eventually open up my own restaurant that's secretly healthy.
What a fun future. I can't wait to eat at your restaurant someday, Rachel. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. We really appreciate having you here. Believe it or not, food is not the enemy, but there is a big difference between eating to live healthy and living to eat. I know all the excuses. Diet food tastes bad, eating less makes you hungry, there's no time to cook healthy meals. We are about to see food can be healthy, delicious, and it can fit into your busy schedule. So here to demonstrate are nutritionist Christine Thompson and professional chef Melissa Graham. You're both busy moms. Ladies, how do you incorporate cooking healthy meals for your kids?
Well, for me, what I do is I love to take my kids with me to the grocery store because that way they're able to pick some of the things out for themselves and get to see all the different variety of foods. And I also like to incorporate local farmers market trips and food co-ops and things like that.
And what about you?
Those are great suggestions. And for me, I like to have a series of 30-minute meals, really quick, easy, simple ones, because I spend my days with food all the time. And the last thing that I want to do when I come home from work is be in the kitchen the whole time.
All right. Well, it's not just about the types of foods that we're eating. It's also the amount. So we're going to surprise someone with a pop quiz. If we could get someone from the audience, do you mind coming and helping us? Hi, tell us your name.
Holly.
Hi, Holly.
Hi.
All right, we have 3 entrees in front of you. One is a kid-sized burger and fries, and then there's also a regular cheeseburger and fries, and then a steak with vegetables and potatoes ordered from a local popular restaurant.
Okay.
Which meal do you think comes closest to 500 calories?
I would have to guess the kids' meal.
Okay. Christine, what's the answer?
The answer is correct. It is the kids' meal.
Tell us about this portion in comparison to the larger sort of regular cheeseburger.
Well, the kid-sized meal used to be the normal. It used to be the adult-sized meal about 30 years ago. But over the past 30 years, portion sizes have tripled. Now this is the new normal. The medium fry quarter-pounder burger with cheese is about 840 calories. But you actually can get a lot more food on your plate for a lot less calories with the steak meal that's in front of us here, which is only 390 calories. If prepared properly, you can get a lot more food for a lot less calories.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for your help, Holly. Melissa and Christine are going to show you how to make a meal, even if you're not a chef. So what do you have for us?
Absolutely. We've got a whole wheat pasta with a broccoli tomato sauce. So we're going to put in 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and then we've got some mixed bell peppers. Put those in there.
Okay. What is it about this meal that is nutritious, Christine?
I love the combination of the bell peppers with all the different colors. And the broccoli is just a powerhouse of nutrients.
Next step, we're going to add in our broccoli. It's a 1 whole head of broccoli. Then we're going to add that in.
Okay, so now we have bell peppers and broccoli in there. What happens next?
We're going to add in a clove of garlic.
Whoa.
Just 1. So the next ingredient is turkey Italian sausage, 1 link. And I'm going to add that in there, and I'm going to break it up. Now we're going to pour in our tomato sauce. You could use tomato puree, and if you did, I would suggest using more garlic in it. But this is a tomato sauce. It's got the garlic in there. I'm going to add that all in there. We're going to put in our pasta now, because I've pre-made the pasta. So you could do this in the morning, and then when you're home, you don't have to get that pasta pot heated up and ready to go. You just make the sauce.
Okay. And Christine, you feel whole wheat pasta is way better than regular pasta to serve your kids?
Yeah, I mean, it really helps keep the blood sugar levels stable, so you're not really eating that heavy pasta and then feeling like you're ready to go to bed right afterward. Because there's fiber in it, it digests in the system a lot slower.
Okay. Well, it looks delicious. Melissa, tell me about the plating. What I love right off the bat, I can see that you used smaller plates, which makes it seem as though it's more food on the plate, but it's maybe a healthier portion size.
This is a kid-sized portion.
Okay.
So I would probably add another 1/4 of a cup or 1/3 of a cup to a plate for me.
I see you're about to put a little cheese on top. Is that allowed?
But just a little sprinkling on top gives it a richness of flavor that's going to make me feel more full after I've eaten it.
Perfect. Well, fantastic, ladies. Thank you both so much for being here today. Someone who has helped both Carson and Rachel is John Taylor. He is a fitness coach at Wellspring.
I'm gonna wreck every one of these kids today. Get down. Good. Up. Come on, man. You're fine. Let's go. Come on.
John T's here. That's never a good sign.
The students saw me come through the front doors. Many of the students were, oh, God. The knees are coming up, okay? I don't want this. It's not a running in place.
Dear Jesus.
Hey, guys, you need to run. Up. Come on. Good work today.
Everyone say hi to John Taylor. We also have a special surprise, NFL wide receiver Brandon Gibson of the St. Louis Rams. Brandon, you're obviously a competitor in the NFL. You've been athletic your whole life?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. You know, I worked hard at what I do to get to where I am, and I just wanted to, you know, do hard work and made sure I did my best in everything I could.
Who was your biggest motivator?
I would have to say my mom. You know, as a kid growing up, we played a lot of sports together. Me, my mom, and my sister. We, you know, I would go in the front and you know, play baseball or play basketball, competing against each other.
I loved hearing you say, though, that you don't see yourself as an athlete per se. You feel like you have to work at it. Can you tell me more about that?
You know, growing up, you know, I wasn't always the best at everything. I was a pretty good athlete, but you know, I wanted to fine-tune my skills and get better at specific things. So I just tried to work hard at whatever I did.
I think that's important for people to hear professional athletes say it doesn't just come naturally. You still have to work at it. And John, you have an interesting background too. You weren't always as fabulously in shape as you are today.
Oh, gosh.
Tell me that story.
When I was 5 years old, I went to the doctor and they found out that I had a tumor that was in my ear. So they had to go in there and remove it. And besides being totally deaf out of the ear now, one of the side effects was the scar tissue narrowed my ear canal down and it affected my equilibrium. I couldn't walk without falling over. I had no sense of balance. And for that reason, I ballooned up to about 200 pounds by the time I was 9 years old. And I'm a short guy, and me walking around with the redhead and the freckles and 200 pounds, it was not a very pretty sight. By the time I was 14, I was, you know, My equilibrium had gotten better because my skull had gotten bigger and widened out my ear canal. And I was at a healthy weight. And by the time I was 18 years old, I got a football scholarship to go play Division II ball.
Wow.
And it's one of those things, if you had told me that when I was 9 years old, probably would have cried my eyes out and ate some more ice cream because I thought you were making fun of me.
And I think your story is just proof that anyone with motivation can make that change. They can get healthy.
You can.
Well, we also have some audience questions. Hi, what's your name?
My name is Matthew.
What's your question, Matthew?
So at school we have physical education, but I do a lot of acting in my free time and not many sports. So in PE I usually get picked last. So what can I do that's physically active?
Brandon, what do you have to say to a kid who's trying to make PE work for him?
I would say just keep playing, don't show any discouragement. Go out there every single day and ready to play and have fun with everyone else.
John?
I would say use your community around you. Most communities have recreational opportunities for you. There are places like the YMCA. There's people out there who would love nothing more to help you develop as a whole athlete. There really are.
We have another audience member with a question.
Hello, my name's Anne Marie, and my question is basically here where we live, the winters can be very harsh and long and cold, and the weather's not really conducive to getting outdoors and working out. So what do you suggest?
Brandon, let's start with you. What do you do when it's cold outside?
I grew up in Seattle, Washington, and it rains quite a bit. And every morning I try to force myself to get up and do something athletic, whether play basketball, running the track is mostly what I do. So I would say stay at it, indoor, outdoor, go outside and work out.
John, I get cold sometimes just watching Too Fat for 15 because it's snowing outside and you have them going at it anyway, no matter what the temperature is. What do you say to people trying to make it work in the cold weather?
I grew up in Seattle as well, and it rains 9 months a year there. There is this certain culture where we grew up that I don't care if it's rain, sleet, snow, whatever, we are going to develop and we are going to get to a higher fitness level. You can go outside and you can be warm as long as you move around.
Everybody has excuses of why they can't work out or why they're too tired, but you guys don't let any of that stop you, and that's what's most important. Thank you so much.
Coming up, we have Wellspring's most determined student, Tanisha Mitchell. She came in at 510 pounds and is Wellspring's most stunning transformation yet. But first, here's another town hall moment.
Is it worth the extra money to spend on organic foods?
Yes, I would say for certain foods it is definitely worth the money. And they call them the dirty dozen. There's actually 12 fruits and vegetables that are worth the organic price because they are heavily sprayed with pesticides.
Obesity Crisis Town Hall. Our next guest, Tanisha Mitchell, has attended Wellspring for 3 semesters. Not only has she learned a lot, but she has inspired everyone at the Academy and everyone who watches her journey on Too Fat for 15 fighting back.
I'm Tanisha, and I did not want to come to Wellspring. I was like a fish out of water. I would get so tired from just walking short distances. I did not know what my weight was at all.
Good morning, Tanisha.
I thought maybe I was in the 400s.
Weight was reported at 425. Her actual weight is 5'10".
The tape didn't fit around me.
Ow! Oh! Ow! You okay?
Coach Nicole and I, we kind of trust each other.
Tanisha would always pass the hill and look at it and just kind of be like, not ever gonna be able to do that.
This is the talk I gave myself. You are out of your mind.
Man, you're doing awesome. You are flying.
She believed in me.
99.5 pounds!
It just makes me really proud to watch that and see her accomplish something she didn't think possible.
100 down, only a few more 100 to go.
Please welcome Coach Nicole Casing and Tanisha Mitchell. It's amazing, isn't it? I love how you inspired this crowd. You look incredible. But I can't believe the weight on that gurney. I mean, how many pounds are there?
That's 263 pounds.
And earlier this morning, you mentioned a great fact, Nicole. She's lost 263. She weighs now
less than that. So that right there is not just the weight that she's lost, but that's actually more weight than she weighs now.
Wow. Congratulations, Tanisha. That is unbelievable. One of the things that we saw in your clip was that when you first came to Wellspring, you had trouble walking. What was your life like at over 500 pounds?
Well, I was homeschooled before Wellspring, so I've spent a lot of time bedridden, and my life basically consisted of 4 walls.
And when you came to Wellspring, what did Nicole teach you? How did you learn to do different things? How did you learn to climb that hill?
I have absolutely no idea. I think she taught me how to be comfortable in myself and how to believe in myself. She definitely believed in me when I didn't believe in myself, and that gave me confidence enough to try.
And who is Tanisha today?
Well, completely different girl than I knew when she first got here. When she first came to Wellspring, she came in a cocoon. She came to us and she was very sheltered and wrapped up just kind of in her own little world. More and more time that's gone on, you've just seen her grow and develop, and really her wings have just sprouted and become stronger and stronger, and she's capable of anything she puts her mind to now.
Tanisha, obviously, you have learned so much and you've affected so many people's lives. But Tanisha, you have to go home and embrace your family and the life around you and learn to deal with those temptations. How are you going to do that?
This year, I'm going off to college. And I am very excited about it, actually. I feel like in the college environment, I'll have all the control. And I like it. I'll have the power to cook my own meals. I'll have the power to go and work out whenever I want. And that's how I plan to maintain my program, to continue losing.
What's the one thing you still dream of accomplishing someday?
I want to be able to outrun her.
Wow.
She ran a marathon, 26 miles?
26.2.
I want to be able to say I can do that. I don't want to, because I hate running, but I want to be able to say that I could do that and I could beat her if I wanted to.
Wow. I never knew you felt this way. Wow. So how are you working on it? What are the steps you're taking?
I have to run.
I've been training her. I've been training the competition this whole time. I didn't even know it.
Of course I wouldn't tell you.
Well, it sounds like you really have your head on straight at this point. What advice do you have to share with other people, girls, adults, anyone struggling to lose weight?
Well, I'd have to be completely and totally honest. It will probably be the hardest thing that they've ever done in their whole entire life. But it is also 120% worth it. I think that as long as everybody is aware how hard it is, and as long as they're actually determined to do it, it's possible.
You say the whole journey is difficult. What was the most difficult part of it?
I think believing in myself, believing that I could actually do it was the hardest thing for me.
And now you do?
I do. I have been. I can't lie to myself. I got this.
Coming up, we have more questions from our audience. Stay with us. A. This is Too Fat for 15, the Obesity Crisis.
We're back, and our audience is going to ask some questions to our panelists. Let's start with you. Tell us your name and what your question is.
Hi, my name's Tiffany, and my question's for the doctors. I am the mother of a beautiful 12-year-old daughter, And I've been a yo-yo dieter for years. And I know that she watches and hears everything that I say and I do. What am I role modeling for her? What should I be saying? What shouldn't I be saying?
Oh, boy. That's such a great question, too. I think, there's a lot to be said for not doing the yo-yo stuff, obviously. But I think the main message here is to stay positive. I think the things that you can show her, the things that you can teach her, come up with traditions in the family that are about positive opportunities. So every night after dinner, take a walk together. Okay, no matter what your weight is, no matter what you're doing at that moment, up or down, every time that you get a chance to play out in the backyard or go to the park, make those the memories that count.
And the other big thing to prevent eating disorders is to have healthy eating patterns, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And when you restrict because you overate, it means actually getting back on track and having a healthy eating pattern.
Great. Next question.
My question is for Ruby. What is the most difficult obstacle you've come across on your journey, and how did you overcome it?
The biggest challenge of this whole journey has been the emotional, finding out that we're not eating because we're hungry. We're eating because we're feeding something, and it's something inside you. It could be something from, childhood. It could be something someone's done to you. People don't realize when you're eating, you're numbing it, and you don't have to feel those feelings. And now that I have to feel them, my Lord, it's totally different. It's totally different. But it's the healthiest thing I could have ever done for myself. You can numb it as much as you want. You're going to have to face it one day.
Next question.
My question is about lunch and stuff. Junk food just tastes better than healthy food. It doesn't always taste good, and I like bringing my lunch or buying lunch, but what's a healthy choice to bring to lunch?
Food manufacturers are really jumping on this healthy eating craze, and there are some delicious, healthy junk foods. Like, for example, in the salad aisle, there are baked sugar snap beet crisps. They're absolutely delicious. And they taste like a chip, but they're much more nutritious for you. So if you want to have junk food, just take it a little bit into the healthier realm.
May I just add one thing? One of the things that we know sometimes, people who develop eating disorders, they develop it because they eliminate foods that they really, really want. So what we work with our kids on is to limit foods and not necessarily eliminate them. So if there's a particular food, if you really like oatmeal cookies or you really like potato chips, is working to budget those in so that you can have them sometimes, just not all the time.
All right, we have one other question.
You guys are all inspirational, and you've inspired many to change their lives and get on the right track. I was wondering how you guys felt about that.
I can definitely understand how watching my journey can help, and that's the reason why I agreed to have everything out there.
Because you knew it would affect other people that way.
Yes, I did. I always had hope for it.
Good for you. Thank you. Thank you to all of you so much for all this great information, for sharing your stories with us. And now it is time for us to make these lifestyle changes for ourselves and for our children. Thank you.